Okay, so you want to know about those train tracks in the snow outside the Ramsey house. It's a weird one. That whole story took a while to figure out, but we got there. Eventually. It was a bitter cold night, first off. Fresh snow came down heavy. Not just a dusting, we're talking proper winter, the kind that makes everything go quiet. And then it stops, leaves everything clean. A fresh slate, right? That's what it looked like on the ground. Until the morning came. That's when Mrs. Ramsey saw them. From her kitchen window, just as she was making her coffee. 2 lines, real distinct, right there in her garden path. Going around the back of the house, she called the police right away, not because anything was missing yet. But it was just wrong. No one should have been there. Not like that. Not in their private car. And the tracks, they weren't normal boot prints, they looked like something else entirely. Like miniature train tracks. That's what she kept saying. Miniature train tracks. Pressed deep into the fresh snow. Detective Miller got the call. He was a quiet guy. Didn't say much, but he saw everything. He got to the Ramsey place fast. It was a big old house that sat up on a hill, away from everything. Perfect for a quiet snow, or for trouble. He saw what Mrs. Ramsey meant. The tracks. They were unmistakable. 2 parallel lines. Not too far apart, with little cross hatches in between. Real neat, almost mechanical. Like a tiny train had rolled through the garden. But that was silly. Trains don't roll through gardens. Not usually. He took pictures, lots of them. From every angle, he measured the tracks. Checked the depth. The snow was still pretty pristine, so the tracks were clear. They led from the back gate, went around the side of the house, to a window. A small window in the study. It looked like someone had tried to jimmy it open. There were marks, scrape marks on the sill, but it hadn't opened. The tracks then turned, went back the way they came, out the back gate, and vanished onto the road, where other tire tracks and footprints were starting to appear from the morning traffic. The tracks were an intruder's mark, a clear sign. The Ramsey family was shaken up. Mr. Ramsey was a busy man, owned a big construction company. Mrs. Ramsey was home most days. They had 2 kids, a son, Michael, he was 10, and a daughter, Clara, she was 7. Both were pretty scared by the whole thing. Miller talked to them all, standard stuff. Had they seen anything? Heard anything? No, nothing. The house was big, they slept soundly. Miller knew these tracks were the key. They weren't some random boot. No ordinary tread looked like that. He had seen a lot of footprints, mud, dust, snow, but never anything like this. He figured it had to be a specialized boot. Something custom. Or maybe a modified boot. Or even a piece of equipment someone was dragging. But the depth and clarity suggested a human weight for someone walking. He sent the photos to the lab. Asked them to look through their databases. See if any known boot manufacturer made a sole like that. He didn't hold out much hope. It was too unique. Too strange. Meanwhile, he started asking around. Neighborhood first. No one saw anything. Not that night. People kept their heads down when it snowed like that. Then he thought about the Ramsey family's life. Who would want to get into their house? What would they want? The house was nice, lots of valuables, so maybe a simple break-in. But the track said otherwise. This person had a specific kind of footwear. That suggested a specific kind of person. He looked at Mr. Ramsey's business. Construction. Lots of heavy equipment. Specialized gear. Maybe someone from there. A disgruntled employee? A competitor? Mr. Ramsey gave him a list of current and former employees. Also, some people he had business disputes with. The list was long. Miller sighed. This was going to take a while. The lab called back, just as he thought. Nothing. No match in any boot sole database. 0. Detective, the text said. We've never seen anything like it. It's like someone took a miniature train track model and glued it to their sole. Miller almost chuckled. Mrs. Ramsey was right. So, the tracks were custom. Or homemade, or for a very niche purpose. Miller started thinking outside the box. What kind of job would need a tread like that? Something that needed extreme grip on uneven surfaces, or maybe something that needed to leave a very specific, discrete mark? No, it was a clear, bold mark, not discrete at all. He went back to the Ramsey house, walked the path again, looked at the window. The scrape marks were small, not very deep. The intruder wasn't trying to smash their way in, they were trying to be quiet, almost gentle, but they didn't get in. That was the main thing. He talked to the kids again. Michael, the 10-year-old, was drawing at the kitchen table. He was drawing trains. Old-fashioned steam trains. You like trains, Michael? Miller asked. Michael nodded shyly. Yeah. My grandpa used to build them. Your grandpa? Miller asked. Yeah. He had a whole setup in his workshop. Miniature ones. Really detailed. He even made the track. Michael pointed to his drawing. The tracks looked just like the ones in the snow. Miller's gut tightened. This was interesting. Did your grandpa ever come here? To this house? Sometimes, before he moved away. He built us a treehouse out back. Michael pointed vaguely towards the woods behind the house. Bill Miller thanked Michael. He went to talk to Mrs. Ramsey. Your father, Mrs. Ramsey. Where is he now? Mrs. Ramsey looked surprised. Oh, he's in Arizona. He moved there a few years ago. Health reasons. The cold here was too much for him. Did he ever wear any unusual boots? Miller asked. Like specialized ones. She thought for a moment. Well, he was always working in his workshop, building things. He had these old work boots. He used to put extra grip on them sometimes, for when he was working on the roof or in the garden, he was very particular about not slipping. Miller pressed on. What kind of grip? I don't know, Detective. He put all sorts of things on them. Bits of rubber, even metal. He'd make patterns. He was an engineer, you know. He liked to tinker. Make things just right. This was a lead. A real one. An engineer. Tinkering. Custom grip. It fit the train tracks description perfectly. Do you have any of his old boots? Or pictures of them? No, I don't think so. He took all his tools and equipment when he moved. While Miller got the address for Mrs. Ramsey's father, a man named Arthur Finch, he made a call to the local police in Arizona. Asked them to pay Mr. Finch a visit, and to specifically ask about his boots, and any strange projects. A few days later, the Arizona police called back. They had found Mr. Finch. He was an old man, living alone, and yes, he had several pairs of modified work boots, including one pair with a unique sole pattern, 2 parallel lines with crosshatches, for maximum traction on icy roofs, he had told them. He was very proud of his invention. But Mr. Finch was old, frail. He hadn't left Arizona in years, and he certainly wasn't in good enough shape to travel all the way to the Ramsey house in the snow. So, it wasn't him. But it was definitely his design, his signature. Someone else was wearing his boots. Or a copy of them. This was getting stranger. Miller went back to the Ramsey family. He asked Mrs. Ramsey again about her father. Did anyone else know about his custom boots? Did anyone help him make them? Did he ever give any away? She remembered something. Yes, he had a young apprentice, years ago. A quiet boy. Name was Alex. Alex Thorne. He used to help my father in the workshop. My father was very fond of him. Taught him everything. Even how to modify the boots. Where is Alex Thorne now? Miller asked. Oh, I don't know. My father and he had a falling out. Years ago, before he moved. Something about Alex wanting to use my father's designs, to sell them. My father was very private about his inventions. Didn't want to commercialize them. Alex got angry. Left. We haven't seen him since. Now, this was interesting. A disgruntled former apprentice. Who knew about the custom boot design? And who had a reason to be angry? Miller felt a spark. This felt right. He started digging into Alex Thorne. It took some doing. Alex had moved around a lot, no stable job, a bit of a loner. He did some odd jobs here and there, construction work, handyman stuff. He had a record. Petty theft, nothing major, but enough to show he wasn't exactly a law-abiding citizen. Miller found an old address for Alex Thorne, not far from the Ramsey house. About 10 miles away. He still lived there, according to some recent utility bills. As Miller got a warrant. He went to Alex Thorne's place. It was a small, cluttered apartment. Tools everywhere, pieces of metal, wood shavings. It was a workshop, really. In the corner near the door was a pair of boots. Heavy-duty work boots. The soles were thick with mud and grime. But even through the dirt, Miller could see the pattern. 2 parallel lines, with the distinctive crosshatches, the miniature train tracks. He picked them up. They were heavy. Well worn. They fit the description perfectly. He took them in for forensic analysis. They matched the impressions in the snow perfectly, no doubt. Now for the why. Why would Alex Thorne try to break into the Ramsey house? He hadn't stolen anything, just tried to get in, and left those distinct tracks, almost like he wanted them to be seen. Miller brought Alex Thorne in for questioning. Alex was surly. Didn't want to talk at first. I don't know anything about it, he mumbled. I was home all night. Your boots say otherwise, Alex, Miller said quietly. He placed a photo of the tracks on the table, and then a photo of Alex's boots. The match was undeniable. Alex looked at the photos. His face went pale. He slumped in his chair. All right, he said. Yeah, it was me. Why, Alex? Miller asked. How were you doing there? It was about the plans, Alex started. His voice was low. The plans for Mr. Finch's invention. The ones he wouldn't let me use. He had so many. Genius stuff. He just sat on it. He wouldn't share. Wouldn't let anyone make money from them. And you thought he kept the plans at the Ramsey house? Yeah. He used to stay there sometimes. Before he moved, he had a study. Upstairs. I figured he'd leave them there. In a safe. Or a hidden drawer. He trusted Mrs. Ramsey more than he trusted me. So you were looking for your old mentor's work, not just looking, Alex snapped. I was going to take them, make them my own. I deserved it. I put in the time. I learned from him. He owed me. He held me back. You were going to steal them, borrow them. Alex insisted. I just wanted to prove they had value, that people would want his ideas, that I could make them real. He just let them gather dust. And the boots, Miller asked. Did you wear them because you thought no one would recognize the tracks? Alex scoffed. No, detective, that's the funny part. I wore them because I thought someone would recognize them. Mrs. Ramsey, she'd know her father's work, she'd know his style. I wanted to leave a message. A message? Yeah, a message to her and to her father that I was still out there, that I was still smart, that I still cared about his work. I wanted them to know I was coming for the plans, that I wouldn't give up. Miller just stared at him. It wasn't about theft, not really. Not in the usual sense. It was about pride, about a desperate need for recognition, a former apprentice feeling wronged, trying to make a statement. Using the very symbol of his mentor's unique genius, the custom-made boots and their unmistakable train tracks tread as his calling card. He wasn't subtle, he was shouting. So who left the train tracks in the snow outside the Ramsey house? It was Alex Thorne, the disgruntled former apprentice of Mrs. Ramsey's father, Arthur Finch. He used boots with a custom tread designed by Mr. Finch himself, a tread that looked just like miniature train tracks. He left them there not just as an intruder, but as a deliberate message, a twisted declaration to the family that had, in his eyes, forgotten him. And to the mentor who had, he believed, stolen his future. That's who it was. The tracks were loud, and they spoke volumes, and they got him caught.